The last stand protocol the Galactic Trade Assembly had stood for 3,000 years, a magnificent structure floating in the void between 7 star systems. Its crystalline walls pulsed with the conversations of dozens of species, each more ancient and established than the last. The Zephyrians, with their translucent blue skin and minds that could calculate faster than quantum computers. The Korthak, massive stone-like beings who had mastered gravity itself. The Sylvani, energy beings who had transcended physical form millennia ago. They were the old guard, the established powers who had built galactic civilization from the ground up. And today they were about to meet the newest applicants for membership in their exclusive club. Captain Maya Chin stepped through the airlock, her simple gray uniform a stark contrast to the elaborate robes and bioluminescent displays around her. Behind her walked Dr. James Park, carrying a simple metal briefcase, and Lieutenant Sarah Martinez, her hand resting casually on her sidearm. 3 humans, representing a species that had only achieved faster-than-light travel 50 years ago. The chamber fell into a hush as Maya approached the central speaking platform. Whispers rippled through the assembly in languages that predated human civilization. The Zephyrian delegate, Counselor Vexthera, gestured with 4 arms toward the humans. So these are the creatures from the 3rd planet of Sol. Vexthera's voice rang out like crystal chimes. The ones who wage war on themselves and poison their own atmosphere. A rumble of what might have been laughter came from the Korthak section. Their delegate, a mountain of living granite named Boulder Crusher, spoke in a voice like grinding stone. They have fought 17 major wars in the last century alone. What could such a violent species possibly offer our peaceful alliance? Maya stood calmly in the center of the platform, her dark eyes scanning the assembled delegates. She had expected this reception. Earth's reputation had preceded them across the galaxy. The humans were known as the species that couldn't stop fighting, the ones who had nearly destroyed themselves multiple times before reaching the stars. Honored delegates. Maya began, her voice carrying clearly through the chamber without any amplification. You're right about our history. We have fought wars. We have made mistakes. We have struggled with our own nature for thousands of years. The Sylvani delegate, a shimmering form of pure energy, pulsed with what seemed like amusement. Then why should we allow such a chaotic species into our peaceful alliance? What can you possibly contribute to our advanced civilization? Before Maya could answer, alarms began blaring throughout the station. The chamber's walls flickered from their normal blue to an urgent red. An automated voice announced in the common galactic language, "Critical alert. Dimensional rift detected in the Andromeda sector. Class Omega threat level. All council members report to emergency stations." The delegates looked at each other with growing concern. Dimensional rifts were theoretical nightmares, tears in space-time that could swallow entire star systems. In 3,000 years of galactic civilization, nothing like this had ever occurred. Counselor Vexthera's forearms trembled as she accessed the emergency data. The rift is expanding at an exponential rate. At current speed, it will consume the Kepler colonies within 6 hours and reach the core worlds within 36 hours. Boulder Crusher's massive form shifted uneasily. Our gravitational manipulation technology cannot contain something of this magnitude. The energy requirements would drain our entire civilization's power grid. The Sylvani delegate's form flickered with distress. Our energy-based solutions are insufficient. The rift is consuming energy itself, growing stronger with each attempt to contain it. As panic began to spread through the assembly, Maya stepped forward. "May I see the data?" The delegates looked at her with something between surprise and disdain. Vexthera gestured dismissively. "This is beyond your species' comprehension. You lack the advanced technology to understand such phenomena." "Maybe," Maya said calmly, "but we might see something you've missed." Dr. Park opened his briefcase and pulled out what looked like a primitive tablet computer. The advanced aliens watched in bewilderment as he began running calculations on his simple device. Lieutenant Martinez stood guard, her eyes scanning the chamber with the practiced awareness of a soldier. After several minutes of intense calculation, Dr. Park looked up at Maya with wide eyes. Captain, it's not a natural dimensional rift. The energy signatures suggest it's artificially created, and there's a pattern to its expansion. Maya nodded slowly. Show me. The image of the rift appeared on the chamber's main display, a swirling vortex of darkness that seemed to eat light itself. But as Maya studied it, she saw something the others had missed. The rift wasn't just randomly expanding. It was following specific gravitational currents, like water flowing downhill. It's not unstoppable, Maya announced to the stunned assembly. It's following predictable patterns. If we can create a countercurrent, we can redirect it into empty space. Vexthara's crystalline eyes widened. That's impossible. The energy requirements would be astronomical. Not if we use the rift's own energy against it, Maya replied. We create a feedback loop. The rift feeds on energy, but if we can make it consume its own expansion force, it will collapse. The delegates exchanged uncertain glances. The theory was sound, but the execution would be incredibly dangerous. It would require ships to fly directly into the rift's influence, risking complete annihilation. Even if your theory is correct, Boulder Crusher rumbled, no species would volunteer for such a suicide mission. Maya smiled grimly. You're looking at one. The chamber erupted in shocked murmurs. The Silvani delegate pulsed with disbelief. You would sacrifice yourselves for worlds you've never even seen? That's what we do. Lieutenant Martinez spoke for the first time, her voice steady and strong. We don't run from impossible odds. We face them head-on. Within hours, a human fleet of 12 ships approached the expanding rift. Maya commanded the lead vessel, a converted cargo ship, fitted with experimental equipment Dr. Park had designed during the flight. The other ships followed in precise formation, their crews knowing they might not return home. As they entered the rift's influence, reality began to warp around them. Space twisted, time fluctuated, and the very fabric of existence screamed under the pressure. But the humans held their course, their determination unwavering, even as their ship's hulls groaned under impossible stress. Initiating feedback protocol, Maya announced over the comm, all ships, prepare for phase reversal on my mark. The plan was elegant in its simplicity. By creating a synchronized energy pulse, at the exact moment the rift reached maximum expansion, they could force it to collapse inward on itself. The timing had to be perfect, and the cost would be high. Mark, 12 human ships fired simultaneously, their combined energy creating a resonance pattern that turned the rift's own power against it. The vortex shuddered, paused, and then began to contract. Within minutes, it had collapsed completely, leaving nothing but empty space where a galaxy-ending threat had existed. That of the 12 ships, only 7 made it out. Maya's vessel was among them, battered but intact. As the surviving crews returned to the trade assembly, they were greeted not with the dismissive tolerance they had expected, but with something entirely new. Respect. Counselor Vexthara approached Maya personally, her 4 arms crossed in the Zephyrian gesture of deep honor. We have underestimated your species greatly. Your courage, your ingenuity, your willingness to sacrifice for others, these are qualities we had forgotten existed. Boulder Crusher's massive form bowed slightly. The Korthak have faced many wars in our long history, but we have never seen warriors like humans. You do not fight for conquest or glory. You fight to protect those who cannot protect themselves. The Silvani delegates energy form pulsed with warm colors. We offer humanity full membership in the Galactic Trade Alliance with all rights and privileges. Your species has proven that advancement is not measured only in technology, but in the courage to use it for the greater good. Maya looked around the chamber, seeing the changed faces of beings who had dismissed humanity just hours before. We accept your offer, she said simply, but know this, we're not here to be your soldiers or your problem solvers. We're here to be your partners. And sometimes, partners have to remind each other what's truly important. As the formal ceremonies began, delegates from across the galaxy approached the human representatives with new interest. They wanted to learn about human ingenuity, about the species that could see solutions where others saw only problems. They wanted to understand how beings with such short lives could think so far ahead, how creatures with such simple technology could achieve such complex results. The answer, Maya realized, was simple. Humans had learned to work with what they had, to find creative solutions under pressure, and to never give up hope even when facing impossible odds. These weren't weaknesses to be overcome, but strengths to be celebrated. From that day forward, when the Galactic Trade Assembly faced its greatest challenges, they knew who to call. Not because humans were the strongest or the smartest, but because they had something even more valuable. The courage to try when everyone else had given up, and the ingenuity to succeed when success seemed impossible. The galaxy was a safer place with humans in it, and finally everyone knew it.